What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another live stream here on the Sergeant Tank YouTube channel. I'll give it a couple of minutes here if you guys are watching this in the replay. Most likely, I probably won't end up editing it, so hopefully at this point, keep you guys engaged. And we're going to take a look here just a moment with regard to some live culturing that I've done through many years here in the hobby. Specifically, we'll be taking a look at some microworm culturing, some vinegar eel cultures, white worm cultures, so on and so forth. So what you're actually taking a look at right here, that's down by me, is Daphnia culture. So that would be one of the first ones here that we'll be taking a look at, but we'll give it a couple of minutes. Again, just bear with me if you guys are watching this in the replay. The reason I am holding off is due to the fact that this is an impromptu live stream, and I'm waiting for a few folks here to join in the live stream. So we got Joel first here to chat. If you can give me a thumbs up, let me know if audio is coming through okay. I'm just using my my earbuds this time rather than my lavalier mic. So if you can give me just a thumbs up that audio and video is okay. I know that there may be some latency issues. We'll just kind of have to roll with it. So Joel said it's all good. We got Frank in the house. How you doing? Annie, how are you? You are so pretty. Well, thank you so much, Annie. I definitely appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. But I hope that you and the fam are doing okay. We got Honeybee. Hello. Let's see. And I apologize, you guys, for the shakiness since I'm just streaming right through the YouTube app. Fortunately, it doesn't really have like an anti-stabilization built into it, so I have issues neuropathically, so my hand is going to shake, especially in this position, but I want to give it a couple of minutes here until enough people roll in, then we can get things going. Turbofish hacked. Yeah, I figured. AJ. Let's see here. We got Guppy Puppies, Vanansky, Soggy Pits. Hello. So let's go ahead, flip you guys around, kind of get things started here. So the first thing you're looking at, try not to move here too fast. And so these three buckets, and then these three, and I also have another one around the corner. But let's just focus here on what we have going currently. These are all Daphnia cultures. Each one of these is established cultures. I will do literature, more in-depth information for you guys at some point, but I see a lot of confusion, and I see as more people are getting geared towards the aspects of breeding, that type of stuff, people are now getting more into live culturing. It's something that I've implemented for better part of 12 years within my repertoire of various foods and aspects when it comes to breeding. Not only do these help on occasion to promote and inhibit by providing the appropriate nutritional value that your specimens of fish or whatever it is that you are looking at getting into to kind of help promote some of those breeding behaviors, but it's also a great food in order to provide to various offspring. So the white, if my first recommendation and tip before I kind of start breaking this down is the white ones. I'll make a little bit more sense here in a moment, but the white ones I do recommend over the green. So the white will show you if a culture is getting close to maybe crashing, if you're not getting enough productivity. Of course, if you take a flashlight and you shine it in there, you can see, how they're doing. But just from a top-down view without actually getting down there and looking close into it, backing up here now, as far as productivity between the white and the green, if you ask me, Jeremy, so do you see more productivity in the white? Anecdotally, I'm saying versus the green, I would say no. And I'm going to show you last, so just bear with me, kind of wrap things up, and this will make a little bit more sense. We will be taking a look at a couple of more cultures as well besides Daphnia. So you can see here in this Daphnia 5-gallon, here. I will be linking for you guys if you're watching this in a replay. Check out the card, which goes a little bit more into depth. So I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about Daphnia, but I did go more into depth on a previous live stream that I did. So I just want to kind of reiterate some of this stuff and just show you guys. I know oftentimes individuals do get discouraged because they end up starting out with Daphnia and they end up crashing their culture or something happens. So redundancy is absolute key, not only from the aspects of maintaining live cultures, but of course redundancy is absolute key when you're actually looking at breeding. So in the unfortunate event, if one of these did crash, I still have essentially 6 others to piggyback off from. So we do carry these on the website. I don't have them listed yet. I was waiting. I've already kind of sold out, so I'm waiting for more to become available. So though that information, along with a in-depth instructional, will be available at some point here, hopefully in another couple of weeks on the website. So this is not here to try to promote Sergeant Tank website. That's not what it's about. I'm just letting you guys know that we do have various cultures available. So they're not, as far as I know, the value of these, you're talking for a starter culture, it might run you 10 or 15 bucks, which is like nothing in comparison to, other sites out there. So if you guys just follow some of the basic stuff, and the main thing that I can tell you, 5-gallon buckets, you don't necessarily need aeration. The key is the foods. So I will provide you guys with a starter food. What I can tell you is I use 3 different types of foods in order to feed these guys. So I do not use green water. I don't necessarily use activated yeast, but I do use 3 essential foods where these guys thrive. Aeration, again, not necessarily the most critical. However, in these 6 systems, as you see here, I do have aeration going. You don't even need light. And I'm going to make a point here in a second. So actually, one of my most active cultures out of all 7 in total, the other ones back here, no aeration. I just do top offs. You'll see that there's ram's horn snails in every one of these, which are a great addition to maintain these cultures. So you guys can see here, there's literally hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, and this doesn't even do it justice. So my point is, I've had this specific bucket sitting there for over a month and a half, and the only thing I've ever done with this is top offs. And I'm doing this and sharing this because I want to put the rest, the issues that I find on occasion, without turning this into a rant, is people need to stop listening to all the information that you guys and the hype when it comes to internet. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So we are running, again, if you guys are new to the channel, we currently run over 110 active systems, 2,500 gallons of water. In every one of these throughout the fish rooms is all various breeding projects. I'm currently working on over 64 active different specimens of livestock that I'm currently breeding here within the 3 fish rooms. Let's take a look here at, bear with me, it was shipping this past week and I haven't got around to clean it up, but this is a mini fridge. This is a wine cooler, as well as my microworm cultures in here. So the recommendation to have for you guys, if you're looking at, we'll add a card above. Go ahead and click on that card and that will bring you a how-to tutorial on going about maintaining and starting out with microworm cultures. We do also have these available. I don't have the white worms yet because I'm providing a lot of these locally to get them here locally. And then when I have a not available, then I can go ahead and provide those as well if somebody's looking at obtaining a white worm starter culture. So the recommendation that I have is, I'm going to go ahead and redundant, is check out Dave Ramsey, the YouTube channel. I've talked about him before. He's a reputable source, been around in the hobby for many years. So he's got an excellent tutorial. I do deviate away from that a little bit. But my best recommendation, if you want success, follow that. I've developed my own method, uses somewhat of that method, but yet it's different. But if you are a beginner into it, that is a recommendation that I would have. He's got an excellent tutorial on several different cultures. The one that I started out with years back was the microworm cultures. They work for many, many different aspects. I'm also going to include a card for you guys at the top talking about breeding and talking about the importance of live cultures. I did a full in-depth live stream in my studio area where I broke everything down and actually show visuals and that type of thing. So the vinegar eels, I have cultures maintained back there. I got cultures maintained back here. This is an old school fish room, as you can see. It's enough for me to do what I need to do to get the job done. So I have to laugh when people think that basically a bare bone tank with like nothing in it besides like no mulch, no detritus. I just chuckle every time that somebody thinks that that is actually a benefit to an ecosystem. But there'll be a rant later on in the future. So Daphnia, vinegar eels, microworms, and whiteworm cultures are the ones primarily that I deal with. There's other cultures out there. You can do Infusoria. There's scuds. There is a lot of like sea shrimp, which will naturally just kind of happen within the ecosystem that's been established during a period of time. But my go-to, as you can tell, amongst all of the ones that I mentioned, is by far. With that, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and take you guys' questions here. Let's see. We got Angela in the house. How you doing, buddy? Jeffro's Fish Keeping, Jamie McDonald. Your Daphne always dies within a month. Evan, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. So yeah, the key thing with Daphnia, Daphnia stink? Absolutely not. 100% not. None of my cultures stink. I mean, you're gonna get that earthy tone to just about everything, especially like with the whiteworms because of the type of substrate or the base that's being used, which I just use like America-Gro, an all organic type of soil. That's what I personally use, and I find that it does phenomenally well. The food that I feed is a organic food. It's like a organic, what is it called? It's an organic, I have to get it through Amazon. So let me walk over there and just show you guys. I'm not being paid for by or anything like that. But here. So you guys are gonna, here, let me flip this around. There we go. So this is what I obtain. This is part of a combination that I use with my trio of foods that feed the Daphnia. I'm not gonna say exactly here what I use for feeding Daphnia. You guys might be upset with that, but it's the way it goes. So what I'm going to tell you is I'm not going to share all of the tips and tricks. I mean, I share quite a bit with you guys, but I got to have somewhat of a competitive edge in the future because there's plans that I have down the road. So I'm not going to share everything, but I can tell you that that is one of them that I do use, crushed up, that works phenomenally well. So I think the advantage that I have when it comes to the Daphnia and maintaining them is the foods. I think a lot of it has to come down to the foods, because you got to keep in mind whatever you're feeding to your fish, or I'm sorry, whatever you're feeding to your live cultures, ultimately is going to be intaked, obviously, through consumption of that fish. So just keep that in mind. So another tip and trick that you can do with Daphnia, depending on what you're utilizing for food, is you can use like a little bit of paprika, which is a natural color enhancer, versus using something that's potent or something that could really long-term or even short-term cause more issues in things I just don't personally believe in. I try to be as much of a purist through the years in the hobby, try to keep things streamlined, try to keep things simplistic. I find oftentimes the reason people have issues, it isn't necessarily the inexperience or the something just being new, if that makes sense. What I find is I really think a lot of folks overcomplicate it rather than just simplifying it. This entire hobby, I spend maybe an hour and a half throughout an entire day out of the 3 fish rooms. That's it. That's it. I mean, unless I'm actively working, sometimes Saturdays and Sundays, I do a little bit more because oftentimes I'll pull spawning mops on Sundays or maybe even on a Saturday. It just kind of depends on how that week is going. But other than that, it's just a lot of more monitoring, doing walkthroughs, make sure that everything is checking out, that the fish are breathing okay, that there's no evidence of any stress or issues, and then I can go ahead and react to it from that point of view. But as far as actively maintaining and doing maintenance, basically an hour to an hour and a half every day. That's about it. So really, I kind of got it down to a science of what works for me. Again, as I always tell you guys, if something works for you, just continue to do it. If it's not broke, why fix it? So this is just trying to provide some insight and a little bit of inspiration for you guys. If you're looking at getting into some cultures, to not be afraid to do it. I've helped out quite a few people locally, try to get them started on the right track, and they, knock on wood, have had pretty good success with it. So I always recommend, if you're getting into Daphnia or any culture, have at least 2 active ones going. Then you can piggyback off from those, as well as providing the appropriate redundancy that you need in case, in the unfortunate event, one of them crashes. To me, it's just common sense, but I try to put that off to the side and just try to give you guys a few tips there. So let's take a look and see what we got going on here. We got Mike in the house. How you doing, buddy? We got Dwayne. Hope that you're doing well. I give 100%, they give me 10%. Let's see. Yeah. We got Matt in the house. How you doing, buddy? So, let's see. All right. Did you guys get a notification? Give me a thumbs up if a notification came through, if it was a delay notification. I know because of my inconsistencies here on the platform that I'm just not going to get that viewership like I used to. So I'm just trying to figure it out. Of course, analytics don't lie. It's a great tool, but the best tool is why I like doing these live engagements with you guys. Honeybee got notification. Jamie got notification. What's going on, Rich? Andy got notification, just got it 15 minutes in. Okay, so sounds like it's kind of a mix between delayed and that kind of stuff, which I have the same issue. So if I'm subscribed to somebody, even if I know I have my notifications on, oftentimes it won't come through right away, and that's just, yeah. Rob Meyer, how you doing, buddy? Looks like I got notification when I already started. Jumped over as soon as I got it. All right, so let's see. Yes, loads of people in here. So yeah, if you guys have been following me for any period of time, I mean, when I had less than 1,000 subscribers, it wouldn't be uncommon for me when I was doing consistent. I mean, again, that's all I did was live streams. I mean, predominantly probably have done over 300 live streams here on the platform. And a lot of those I just didn't upload because I know the overall retention and value, if you're looking at from that standpoint, is it going to help your channel? So just kind of an incentive for folks who stayed engaged, and I definitely appreciate it. So I'm here to try to support you guys as much as I can, try to provide as much insight, trying to get back to focus on not just intermediate to advanced aquarists, but also folks who are new into the hobby as well, because I understand that if we don't focus on new aquarists, it's not going to help in the long term, especially youth. So definitely expect different things in 2019. More interviews I plan on doing. I plan on bringing other folks on in as far as interviews. Hopefully a few folks here locally that can definitely provide a lot of expertise in their years in the hobby. So it's always nice to get a different individual's perspective. And then when you have a few different perspectives, and you as an individual can go ahead and take that information, decipher what works, what doesn't work for you. Not that it doesn't work for them, but what works specifically for you. So that's always been my ultimate goal here on the platform, is to ensure that you guys have the most amount of success in the hobby, and enjoy the hobby as much as I do. Let's see. Bob, how you doing, buddy? Jeremy H, hello. I'm on my way back from Knoxville. Trinity's tanks and picked up a Fahaka puffer at the aquarium in Knoxville. Nice. Need experience, but don't have the youth on my side. I feel your pain, honeybee, when it comes to kids and stuff like that. I mean, my own kids, they don't. I got 4 of them, and none of them care. I mean, my 3-year-old, out of any of them, I have hope. But again, I don't ever push it on anybody. I mean, most people that know me, family, friends, you guys know how it is. I mean, we're all nuts. Doesn't make sense to them. So, but I think that goes with any hobby. You know, we could all push that back. It doesn't matter what it is that we're into hobby wise. Whether if it's music, if it's RCs, if it's, going to the casino, could be a number of different things. I mean, yeah. Favorite fry food is green water. Can you talk about how you make it and use it? So with green water, the best recommendation I have is natural sunlight. So I don't really necessarily have any green water to show you here, but if I want green water, since I don't personally I'm not saying that I'm trying to find good lighting here. You know what? Let's head out here real quick to my studio area. I want to sit down here. So on that stuff first. All right. I know that the video and the audio probably suck, but that's okay as long as the information is there. So getting back to the green water, basically stagnant. This is how I would do it. So if I'm going to start, and oftentimes in green water, you're going to have natural, but just have a bucket and have it in direct sunlight. And that's how I would do green water. But yes, there is a lot of benefits. Any food, whatever that, and I pointed this out at the beginning here, but whatever that culturing or consuming what it is that I want my fish to feed off from. So that's why I use, even with some of the cultures, I use a varied, and they're either ones I've already done in-depth videos on. Mr. B's wants this on. These you can pick up. I have people ask me all the time. They're like, "Where'd you get that?" Picked it up from Amazon. But I think it's mirrored because I'm on my mobile, so it's going to be backwards, probably for you guys. Would that work in a greenhouse with light coming through? Yeah, I mean, essentially you could do green water with the appropriate lighting. I mean, you could do it indoors. I would actually encourage Dwayne, if you're still in here, Dwayne, let us know specifically how you do it, since you use it more on a regular basis. Me personally, I don't really use green water, but I definitely like your insight on that. So if you guys aren't aware, Dwayne Kitchell has been around in the hobby much longer than myself, and I encourage you guys to definitely check him out. I know that he usually goes live on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I always try to make it there. I know the last couple of weeks, I think he did one, last Saturday, but there's a couple of weeks where he wasn't unable to do it. Let's see. And when you're ready, we've known each other here through the platform. How long now? On a live stream here for 2019. My goal is to do one a month, specifically with individuals that I want to get to 2 or 3 here locally that I know can definitely bring some value, as well as some other folks that I plan on reaching out to. Probably folks that you may not be aware of. So I want to see, the thing is, I think there's so much hype behind social media and stuff, and the big picture is really missing, in my opinion, with that regard, that there's so many very, very insightful individuals in the hobby, individuals that have been around for many, many years, many decades, and just the amount of experience and their specialties, you know, none of them call themselves experts, but they definitely have a lot of insight and a lot of value in certain areas. And since this channel is more geared around aspects of breeding and maintaining, you know, that's where a lot of these interviews really probably fall in that category. And I understand it doesn't necessarily always appeal to everybody, but that's just something that I have a passion for. So that's kind of my focus for next year as far as interviews. Yeah, so whoops, sorry, you guys. All right. Put a piece of lettuce in a small jar of water, put it in the window ledge for a few days. Then I use an eyedropper to feed very small fry. Right on. And before we wrap things up here, I can kind of show you how I do tannins. So if you want to introduce tannins, my recommendation has always been using Indian almond leaves, katapa leaves, like from a source. They're out of Thailand. So I'll only use the source. We do also have those available. Yeah, man, let me show you real quick here. If you guys were wondering, I know a couple of folks were asking as far as, so these are what I picked up here. Those were the awards. There's 7 of them from our Christmas. And here's your ancestress. So we got the male, and then got the females, and then we got your shrimp right down in there. So yeah. So this is one tank that contains tannins. So I just use Indian almond leaves. I have a Xenotoca doadrioi. She's going to get ready to drop here soon. So she's up in a breeder box. And I don't want to focus a lot on here because we're already kind of getting at that. We're already at that half-hour mark. So if you guys enjoy these, you're going to let me know by essentially liking or disliking. So if I get more likes than dislikes, then I'll do more of these. As long as you guys, enjoying them. So we'll end on this note. This is how I do if I want to start for tannins. Is I put a couple of these katapa leaves in this fish bowl, and I use just RODI water and just have it covered up with a bowl on top. And that's how within a couple of days this thing will look like, the way that it is. So thank you guys for the congrats. I appreciate it. So Manka, if I'm saying it right, as far as the fish fetish, so if you are new to the hobby of fish keepers, we're just a bunch of nerds that enjoy the hobby. So a lot of what we do here within our fish room or fish rooms is a lot of conservation efforts, especially with Limia and Goodeids species. There's also various, like the Stedocrinus irvini, which is another strain here. These guys are actually from the Volto River, whereas like the Congo River, here these are the Stedocrinus caesareus. You can see the female there, and then the male's hiding in there. And my point to that is, with a lot of these various species, and I'm not going to go around from tank to tank, is it involves cares, and cares is really an effort with many different conservation projects that are out there through like Department of Natural Resources, that kind of stuff, to build up enough within the hobby and the community as a bunch of fish keepers to put the effort into reintroducing a lot of fish and different various specimens of livestock into their natural habitats where they have been more or less wiped out by us as humans. So that is just one of the things that really drives me as a fish keeper, is that, as well as the therapeutic aspects of the hobby. So just like with any other pet, companionship, that kind of thing. So that would be my fetish. That's pretty much the easiest way I can sum it up. But yeah. All right. All righty. So I appreciate it. We didn't get a lot of folks in here, but that's all right. This is a hot mess anyways, and that's what I enjoy. That's what I'm bringing it back to. I know that's what a lot of you folks have been missing, is for Jeremy to bring it back old school Sergeant Tank here on the YouTube style, and this is the way I built my entire channel. As long as the information is there for you guys. Again, I'm not necessarily looking at the whole cinematography aspect. That's what I can tell you. Key thing, light shining. But again, it works. It's a hot mess, but everything is efficient. And again, numbers don't lie, I guess. So with that being said, you guys, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a like. If you hated it, go ahead and give it a dislike. It doesn't matter to me either way. It only helps us as content creators, as long as there's some form of engagement. Actually, the worst thing that you can do is not do anything at all. So with that being said, as always, stay encouraged. Keep on keeping on. Happy fishing. And I'm going to talk to you guys right back here on the next one.